Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Talal and today I'll be talking about the major changes that are there in the digital SAT. I'll try to keep them section wise and separate so that you don't have any confusion. First I'll be talking about the reading and writing section and the major changes that it has brought, right? So when you talk about the reading and writing section of the digital SAT, the first major change is that you have a unified version of the reading and the writing section. If you look at the paper SAT, you had a separate reading section and then you had a separate writing section, right? But over here you have a combined reading and writing sections, right? You have a few topics that are designated to the reading part, then you have a few topics that are designated to the writing part, and that is how it is made, right? So that is the first major change that is there in the digital SAT. When you talk about the second major change, that is the fact that you'll have only one question from every passage, right? Previously, if you look at the paper SAT, you had 10 questions, 11 questions, and in some passages even 12 questions from one particular passage. But over here, you will have only one question from one passage. And this leads me to the next point, the next change that we have, and that is that you have shorter passages as well, right? Because you have only one question from one passage, what the digital SAT or the college board has done is that they have reduced the length of the passages, right? So now you'll have shorter passages, and that is one of the luxuries that students can have. Why? Because if you look at the previous SAT, many students who are very good with the approaches of the questions, they tend to falter on the paper. They weren't able to complete the paper just because of the length of the passages that was there, and it got very difficult for most of the students and they got exhausted on the paper, right? So that is something that they have curtailed, that is something that they have cut down, and now they're focusing on something that is relevant, right? So the third part is that the passages are very small relatively if you look at the paper SAT, right? And the final change that they have brought about in the reading and writing section is the fact that they have introduced some new question types, right? Questions like reticle synthesis, in which you have notes, and then you have to you have a questions that you have a question that is related to those notes, and then you have to take out that particular information and answer your question. So questions like these were not there in the paper SAT. You have these new question types over here in the reading and writing section only, right? So these were the four major changes or the major introductions in the digital SAT of the reading and writing part, right? So if you look at the math section, there are two major changes that they have brought in the math section. The first change is the calculator, the use of calculator, right? Previously in the paper SAT, calculator was only allowed in the first section of math, and in the second section of math the calculator was not allowed, right? In one of the sections the calculator was not allowed, right? But over here, if you talk about the math section, you have calculator allowed in both the modules, right? That is not a problem, right? And if you look at the question length, right, the number or the length of the questions when you talk about math, that has also differentiated, right? That has also changed. The average length of the math questions, it has reduced. You do not have lengthy questions, but you have brainy questions, right? It's not like if the length of the question has shortened or curtailed, it's not like you'll have easy questions, right? You'll have questions that are brainy, that are conceptual, and it will take a lot of brain and concepts if you want to solve those questions. So in all, there are many changes to it, and I'll leave those further changes to my other videos. But if I summarize on a major level, these are the four in reading and writing sections and two in the math section. These are the total 6 changes that you'll see on the digital SAT as you move on and practice for it. I hope this video helped you guys. Thank you so much.